I'm back with my physio, Leslie Abrams, who is my own personal physio and has been helping me recently with some back issues that I've had. And he's with a company called Bodies Under Construction, and they have a couple of clinics in southwest London. And we are right now talking to you from the Chiswick Riverside, where he practices and where I see him. So we did another video talking about, back pain and movement and what causes this kind of thing. And today I wanted to talk to him about medication, over-the-counter medication. So because and I'm the kind of person, I try not to take medication if I can help it, but I did need it when I put my back out recently. And I was taking paracetamol basically. I was taking Panadol Extra for the first few days, and it actually didn't even touch the sides because I was in a tremendous amount of pain. And then after a couple of days, you said to me that because I did have inflammation in some of my joints, and you said, no, you need to get onto the anti-inflammatories. And at that point I took Nurofen, which definitely made a difference, but you were very particular in how I should take it. So I think that's interesting because only take it for a certain amount of time and then you must stop. So can you explain your thinking with that?
Well, I think the first thing to say is the common story that we hear from people is that they've been on medication for a long time after the initial painful episode. And so the first thing to mention is that medication should be taken for a short amount of time to get over the worst of the discomfort, and then you strategically need to tail it off over a period of time,
right,
and then stop taking it. So,
and why is that? So what is it, the anti-inflammatories and the Nurofen that you should only take for a short time, or any of it?
Ideally, look, the paracetamol is really good for basic pain relief. The anti-inflammatories obviously help you to reduce inflammation. But the interesting thing to mention about the way the body responds to any injury is that it causes inflammation.
Right.
It's like it bathes the soft tissue, the joints in fluid, because in that fluid there's a lot of healing products. So it's like when you are taking anti-inflammatories, you need to think to yourself, are you causing an anti-inflammation approach, or are you trying to control pain? Because then we're talking about two different things.
So if your body, I took the anti-inflammatories about 3 days in, and my inflammation then did start to go down because what with seeing you, the little exercise you were giving me and the Nurofen, my pain level did go down, and I was able to, a little bit, I was still in a lot of pain, but I was able to move a bit more.
Correct, yes.
But if the inflammation that your body creates has got things in it that help you, isn't it counterproductive to take an anti-inflammatory?
Well, that's a good point, because then you take it for a short amount of time to allow the body to decrease that painful stimulus, so that it encourages you to move a little bit. And remember, in the previous video, we were talking about motion being lotion.
Yes.
And when you move a joint, you nourish it because you get a release of a lot of good feel hormones, endorphins, all these key things that help you to move and to recover from an injury.
Right.
And so it's like you are playing up the pain, the inflammation, and the ability to move the body. So strategically, you take it for a few days only to allow your body to initiate the movement, to overcome some of this initial painful stimulus. And then the next layer is you then start to move a little bit better, and strategically you tail off the medication, because then you don't need it anymore because the pain levels naturally start decreasing.
I remember you said, take the Nurofen for 72 hours, which was 3 days, and that's what I did.
Yeah. And
I was taking the maximum dosage because I needed it. And then you said, don't go cold turkey, maybe take one the next day, because by then, after sort of the end of that week, the pain was worse in the morning. The mornings were bad, but the afternoons were much, much better. While you're taking those anti-inflammatories, what is happening to your natural inflammation? Are the anti-inflammatories reducing your natural inflammation? And that allows you to move? And then when you stop taking them, what happens then?
Yeah, I think as medical science has advanced over the last decade, if you were to talk to me a decade ago about anti-inflammatories, then it would have been one of the key things that we would have suggested that people take for an acute injury, and there wouldn't really have been a time frame. It's sort of you take it for as long as you need until you start feeling better. Whereas nowadays, to recover from a particular injury of a joint in the muscle, we're tending to say is take it only if completely necessary. Try not to take it if you can get away with it.
That's so interesting, because that has always been my natural inclination with medication. You know, there are times you need medication, and if I need it, I will take it. But I will never ever take something unless I really need it. And funnily enough, in the middle of that week, I happened to go and see the doctor for something else. And I hadn't started on the Nurofen yet. And I said, look, by the way, I have a very bad back, and you know, I'm on this, you know, should I be on something else? And he offered me, what was it called? A prescription anti-inflammatory with an N.
I think it was naproxen, I think you mentioned.
Naproxen, which I think is quite a common one, which is much, much stronger. And you know, you have to take that with food. I mean, you have to take the others with food as well, but you know, you'd feel quite sick if you didn't. And then he said, but you know, you also have to take antacids with it. I forget why, because it was so strong on the gut or something.
It's quite strong on the gut, yes. And so you have to line your tummy with some food, and you have to take some additional medication.
And get the antacid. And do you know, and just me being me, and the kind of person I am, I took the prescription, but I ended up not taking it. Because, you know, I mean, antacids is a whole other story. Everybody thinks they're good and they pop them, but actually I don't think they're very good for you at all. So, you know, the moment he said, oh, you've got to take an antacid and it's that strong, I didn't want to take it. So I took the course of Nurofen, and actually that was absolutely fine.
That's exactly what you needed.
And, you know, so that worked for me. I mean, maybe somebody else would need the prescription and would, you know, want a stronger version. Do you have anything else to add about?
No, I think that you know, all the different layers of medication, I think it's very, very useful dependent on how serious a back problem we're talking about.
Yes.
Like in your particular case, it was a joint, it was more muscular sort of issue. So you got away with a slightly lower dose or type of medication.
Right.
But some people have a bit of a nerve issue, or they've got a nerve entrapment.
Yes.
And
so
that's
very
a completely different kettle of fish.
What would they take? What if you have you know?
So then it'll be a different class of drug, and then they will go to more of the prescription type medication,
right,
like the GP was wanting to give you at that particular time when you saw them. So it varies depending on what's going on.
Yes.
But I think the main message is that if you do take something, take it for a short amount of time, and only take it for as long as you feel necessary to be able to get yourself moving again, and then strategically just tail it off so that your body doesn't become accustomed to.
And in particular with the anti-inflammatories,
yes,
that's something you're saying now. What they know scientifically is that you don't want to take it for too long.
Yes, you don't want to take it for too long, because you dull down the body's natural process. And I think I did mention it to you once. It's like the healing process starts with a massive inflammatory response from the body.
Yes.
And that healing process needs to finish.
Right.
And your body is the only thing that can finish it for you.
Right.
And if you are going to continually put some other artificial things into the mix,
right,
then your body doesn't have an opportunity to finish its healing process.
Yes.
And I think that's really important.
That
to
makes
mention.
total sense. And I think that's a really useful bit of information, because I bet you that when people hurt their back and they reach for the Nurofen or whatever it is that they reach for, that they will take it every day until they're completely better.
Correct.
For a long time. So I'm sure that happens a lot. So
it does happen a lot.
Yeah.
And also just one more thing to mention on that
yes,
is that sometimes the pain doesn't completely go away straight away. And so people are, you know, there's this misconception that if I have a back pain episode, the pain is completely gone and then I can get on with my life. But it's not the case. Sometimes you continue to have some discomfort,
yes,
but that discomfort doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do all the things you want to and love to do.
right,
Sometimes you just have to go, okay, I feel it there, it's annoying, it's in the background, but I need to get on with it.
Which is exactly the stage I'm in now. I mean, my back is still stiff. I am aware of it, but I am pretty much, well, I'm not back to my normal life because I'm not, working out massively, but I'm working and I'm doing what I have to do. And I'm being careful with picking things up.
It's a journey, and you're still on that journey at the moment.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you very much.